So we've had a good day, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, that was really nice hearing the life of Padre kind of recollect, especially through Peter Nordine. You got he did a great job of capturing Padre, one of the pillars of Mirabai. Uh-huh. There was one I think that you read just last time we were together that was very good.
Yeah, the one that I read, I think, was this two-line quote that said, "Whatever you're facing in the world, I am facing it along with you."
Yeah, beautiful. And
And it,
it's true, but it's not easy to know that. Takes the awareness to know that that he's stuck with each of us.
yeah, and it continues, "I will never leave you, I am always with you."
Yeah.
I created a new private Facebook page that would be for, our group, Effort and Grace, and those who like to come to late night chat. And, it's primarily focused on living Baba in our daily lives. So I thought that maybe it would be a nice adjunct to the Zoom meetings that we're doing. Just get some conversation going. The Saturday breakout room meeting went well, I thought. Jai, what'd you think?
Yeah, it went really well. I got to know Anthony and Paula a little bit more.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And
And
Robin, you
and
were there
Paula's
too?
there in Seattle too, right?
Yeah, I asked her where, but it's kind of like 60 miles north on an island, one of the islands, I guess she's
Oh,
at.
okay.
Yeah.
Bainbridge or
I didn't recognize the name.
oh, Robin was there. Just to tell you who are just joining, we thought, all these years all this past year or many months, we're just seeing each other on the screen, and there's not much chance for interaction. We're following concerts and talks and everything. So we decided to do get together like this and then go into breakout groups where you could, with about 4 or 5 people, and then you could, just share things, and somehow organically things things just evolve and everything. And we were on for quite a while, and time just went by like that. I thought it was about 45 minutes, and it was over an hour. But it doesn't. I think getting together for 45 minutes is great, and if it goes over that, fine. But that way, and what Angela was saying there, what was the title of this Facebook page?
It's called Living Baba.
Yeah, Living Baba. So it's kind of fun. I was thinking next time, if people, we could think about the different ways that we remember Baba during the day, especially the quirky things that we do. And Cassandra had one way that she, you know, remembers Baba when she has peach yogurt. She associates Baba with peach yogurt, and she puts a spoon in and she offers it to Baba, and then she puts it back in and stirs it into the peach yogurt and as prasad, and then she eats her yogurt.
Wonderful.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Robin, you were there too. What'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was great. I was with Patty and Wayne and Marcia, and then Peter came on towards the end. And yeah, it's really nice way to get to know people and share it. It went very smoothly. I thought we were there probably about 55 minutes. I don't know how long exactly. It was very nice. I would do it again. I was a little nervous, I didn't know who I'd be with or how it would flow or if I'd feel, I don't know, intimidated or uncomfortable, but I certainly didn't. It was great. Good idea.
So I was thinking that maybe, some of the conversations that might have come up in those little groups could also go onto this Facebook page so that, the rest of the group could kind of hear some of the tidbits that you've shared and that sort of thing. It could be a fun way to interact outside of waiting for the event to be live.
I used to call Darwin Clark Kent. That they remember the mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, and you could be fooled just seeing him in a mall, just kind of a quiet and unassuming guy, but once he started talking about Baba, boy, he took off, and so he got a kick out of that. Clark Kent.
Hey, you guys, Jay Baba, great to see you all.
Yeah.
So Jeff was asking how you liked the breakout room meeting.
How
Oh,
did
it was wonderful. Sorry I had to leave early. A couple of us Gainesville locals have had our own little Baba group for some of the Temple of the Universe people at 4 p.m. on Saturdays. So yeah, I was wondering if you guys got together after the breakout rooms, but it was great. We really had a great time, and it was just a real treat to get to connect with people in a little deeper way. And yeah, I thought it was great. Thank you all so much for setting it up.
Well, let's have a few moments of silence before we begin. Jai Baba. So I'm going to just read something that Baba said on grace. He's given a number of messages on grace, and this is one of them, which I think is very good. I'm just going to read some excerpts from it. So Baba says, excuse me. Okay. Baba says that his grace is flowing sufficiently all the time to fill one and all receptacles everywhere. That is why there is rarely a vessel or a heart that is not filled with other things. A vessel must be emptied before it can be filled by the flow of my grace. It is also my grace which helps a vessel to become completely emptied in the first place. The sun is now shining brilliantly outside this hall, but the sunlight does not reach you under the roof. The sun is doing its job of giving light. You have also to do your duty in removing whatever comes between you and the sun. Unless you break open the roof, how can you ask the sun to pour its light upon you? You have raised this roof of ignorance over your own self. Demolish it, and you will find that you yourself are the light, and you yourself are the sun. The flow of my grace to you depends upon the intensity of your love, for it is love which attracts my grace to you. There are a number of beautiful messages, but that is one. Now, I'm going to mention just some people have said that they're bothered by thoughts, coming during the day. And I'm just going to repeat something that I said maybe a couple sessions back. Darwin's kind of method of kind of lessening thoughts. And as I said before, the question is, what is feeding the thoughts? We often try to counteract thoughts with other thoughts, but Darwin really emphasized, go to the emotion that is feeding, that is the root cause of the thoughts, and try to give that, like Darwin would say, the first tremor of anger, the first notes of sadness, the first quivering of fear, give that to Baba before it goes downstream and the mind gets a hold of it. Once the mind gets hold of it with its ideas of past and future and its imagination, it becomes a huge thing to give to Baba. So try to do it early on before the mind gets a hold of it. You know, the emotion in its pure state is quite beautiful. I mean, fear, when it is seen just in its independent of the mind, is really not as horrifying, as fearful as it might seem. I mean, it's like Dorothy came to the Wizard of Oz and he had all of that show, that kind of terrifying show, but it was just a little man over there that was operating this whole phantasmagoria. And the same it is with with thought. And you can take, you know, sadness all the way to a deeper and deeper core and give it to Baba, and then the thoughts will lessen automatically. So anyway, I just thought that I would go back and mention that again. But anyway, so let's go on to Effortless Effort, is it?
Yes, that's what I have. Page 59 of the book. It's page 33 of the PDF at the bottom.
Effortless effort. As we gain a deeper understanding of how we create sanskaric veils, and as the activity of Baba's love, grace works within us, we rise to successfully higher and freer levels of consciousness, and correspondingly can focus more and more one-pointedly on the Master or God. This constant one-pointed inner focusing or meditation eventually becomes effortless. This is not meditation that is a glossing over, but a rooting out form of working. But to attain effortless effort, we must be able to control the sanskara-driven thoughts and feelings that influence us to focus on and value lesser things. At the fifth plane of consciousness, we gain complete control of thoughts. And on the sixth plane, we can completely control feelings. But we must try to get control of our thoughts and feelings at the level we are now. This is how we get that higher control, by working with our thoughts and feelings where we are now. Putting our full attention on Baba or God within keeps the inner doors open and creates a funnel that narrows our focus from the vast manyness of gross objects to the oneness that is reality. And this opens up our consciousness to the presence of God, the divine calm.
Any comments or any questions about about that, or any examples that, you know, how do we create these sanskaric veils? Anybody got a good answer for that?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that, Jeff, but I just wanted to comment that that last line, this opens up our consciousness to the presence of God, the divine calm. I just had never heard, I mean, I have heard it before because I've read this book several times before, but it struck me more vividly that word divine calm, and how it just feels so potent. And it feels the opposite of winding up a lot of sanskaras. How we do that, I'm not sure, but it feels like the opposite.
Yeah, I never heard Darwin use that phrase divine calm until I read it in this book. I don't know if Bill, did you ever hear him say that? It was more unusual. But the one thing that he did say that, I'm going to, maybe next time I'll mention this because I kind of got it from Darwin, is from the gross level, there's the world of spirituality, all the divine, the spiritual realm. And then there's the realm of reality where Baba is. The spiritual realm, you pick up all sorts of sanskaras and more refined sanskaras. But in the realm of reality, Baba, there are no sanskaras. And if you can tune into that, there's no commotion because there are no sanskaras. Baba, he used to say, Baba is impressionless being. To tune into Baba is not spiritual, it is, what can I say? It just is. Very quiet, peaceful, full, and complete. But anyway, that's something I gathered from Darwin.
Abby.
The real. Yeah.
I was wondering if you could give an example of what he might be meaning there.
Of creating sanskaric veils?
Just how he was describing what to do.
No, you mean what to do to avoid creating sanskaric veils, or where to put our one-pointed attention?
Yes, where to put our one-pointed attention.
Yeah. Well, Darwin, even though he does talk about the spiritual aspect of life, but his main thing is to focus on Baba in any way, shape, or form, whether it's his photograph or reading about him or trying to be loving for him. All of that is dissolving. All of that activity dissolves our good and bad sanskaras, and even our spiritual sanskaras get dissolved in Baba's impressionless being. You're giving up, you're going toward the real, not the spiritual, but you're going to the real, which dissolves everything. So that's the shortcut. That's the spiritual bypass that they talk about. In other words, when Rick Chapman went to see Baba, and he was kind of like a spiritual seeker, and he saw Baba in 1966, and Baba, one of the things that he said in his momentous interview with him is, forget about spirituality, forget about the planes of consciousness, forget about spiritual experiences. Now, that is unusual coming from a spiritual master, you might say. But he said, strive to see me as I really am. And so get the focus on him, and a lot of this stuff gets taken care of. I don't know if that helps, Abby. I mean, but and other people join in.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
Well, the phrase that sticks out for me in this, as he's talking about focusing on Baba, the master of God, one-pointed inner focusing or meditation, that becoming effortless. But then he says, this is not meditation, that is a glossing over. And this is what I think, what hit me, but a rooting out form of working. So to me, it sounds like we're rooting out those things which are not helpful in seeing clearly the reality. So, which includes thoughts and feelings, which, as Jeff has been saying from the beginning of this book, to create that void in us that allows the reality to come in. because as Baba said, until you go, I cannot come. So to me, the rooting out is what we're looking for. And eventually it becomes so natural that it's effortless and then makes it easier. But how to control the sanskara-driven thoughts and feelings, I guess, goes back again to that issue of valuation, because it says that influence us to focus on and value lesser things. So to me, it's going back to the concept of valuation and what Baba says. We confuse what is less important and more important. And I don't know, that chapter discourses on valuation always hit me hard. I think I need to go back and read it. But if anyone knows, I mean, so there would be methods that each of us would choose to help us with this rooting out form of working. I guess the closest thing I have is being in a receptive mode, trying to tune in my intuition, I guess, saying, what does Baba want? And probably thinking, the 3 times a day, which I don't do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I'll wake up and I'll start thinking about Baba, and I'll say, that's good, you did that. But that's good. minuscule. Some of you guys are doing that constantly. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I do think it's a question of listening, being receptive, and tuning in, but tuning in the way of correct valuation. And then if something resonates, then to take action on what that is, or to not take action because you realize there's something about whatever it is you're considering doing or feeling that would not take you in the direction that we have heard Baba speak of our going in.
Yeah, good.
If anybody has any other ideas, that would be great.
And I think the glossing over is kind of what Darwin means is transcending your problems, kind of going above them rather than actually facing them. But go ahead.
Mahu?
Yes, more or less what I wanted to share, it was shared by different people, but in different literature, by Baba's words, he mentions that in a world of illusion, whatever that we do binds, good or bad, it doesn't matter. They are both binding, and they are making sanskaras. So that is already done beyond us. But then when we come to Meher Baba, which for me, the thing that really attracted me to him in the beginning was this concept of sanskaras. I have never heard of it before. It looks like the freedom was within that, triumphing over it and getting hold of it and so forth. But identifying, also in another place, I remember I read in Lord Meher, once we identify anything that we do with this I, me, mine, those are all helps the veil of sanskaras to get thicker and thicker. Like we create them, but then, but when we are in touch, we're creating these sanskaric veils more and more when we are identifying our words, deeds, and thoughts with the concept of I, the ego mind, I, me, mine, all of this is mine, my children, my father, my mother, my house, and stuff like that. But it gets to the point when we are with the master, Darwin explains it so well. It gets to the point that we rise higher. we are with Baba and we don't know it, but we rise to the higher consciousness, and the love of the master gets through us more and more, works through us more and more. We're more receptive, we are a better receiver. And once we have that, then everything is Baba. Everything is Baba. So Baba says, burning sanskaras is possible, but you got to stay away and far distance from I, and don't think about yourself and think of me and love me. That's your freedom. That's where it gets you going. That's it.
Yeah, good. I mean, I just to respond, but Wendy, I guess, is next, but we're going to be stuck with identifying, but as to whether we identify lightly or whether we identify heavily. You know, children identify with things that they do, but it's very light. Grown-ups identify with things and sometimes very heavy. This is my house. This is my profession. So we are stuck with identifying, but it can be much lighter. But anyway.
Yeah. And Wendy, go ahead.
I learned this on one of your conversations that I listened to, and I don't remember when it was, but anyway, I hope I got it right, that you said that the soul never changes. Is that correct?
That's what Baba says. Yeah, the soul is untouched, sovereign.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad I got that right. Because that clicked for me. I don't know why, but it was one of those statements. And so what I'm trying, I don't get it right all the time by any means, but when I'm talking, like as I'm doing right now, I'm talking to everyone here, their soul, rather than their personality. That's what I'm trying to do, so that they can hear what my heart is saying, rather than trying to intellectualize. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, beautiful.
Or not.
Yeah.
But it has really shifted something for me. And I don't know who said it. I don't know how it came up, but it's given me that focus, like that funnel, where I'm not looking for approval or yes or no. It's just that heart connection at that soul level. Anyway, I could ramble, but I'm not going to.
No, beautifully said, Wendy, even though you're kind of stopped there and yeah, no, beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words sometimes. Did I lose you?
No.
Have I lost you? No.
You're fine, Wendy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's one of those things that the more you practice it, or for me anyway, the deeper it's going in.
Okay, I kind of wrote this down because I kind of lose where I go. Say you're taking a walk, and you're in the gross world, and you're confronted with a situation and you observe it. But if you interact, it's going to create more impressions, unless it's for a reason, which is to help someone in need. So usually you're not to act, but it's okay to allow your thoughts. And then I just remembered the calendar, the Baba calendar for this month is on principles and practice about, when you should act and not I'll just read the bottom line because it's condensed. Do nothing even to please me or the world against the dictates of your own conscience. Unhesitatingly do what you think to be right and proper despite the opposition of the world. Let your mind be firm as a rock that resists a long, strong blasts of wind from all sides. So it's just kind of like when you're out in the world, you're going to see things, and it's hard not to react. So then I take Baba's name or do the Satchananda thing or whatever. But sometimes you have to act, and maybe you don't form sanskaras when it's for the right reason. like the other part of the calendar talks about if you know somebody committed a crime and you don't speak up, that's worse than anything because you could have saved somebody's life at the risk of you making sanskaras, by acting. So anyway, to keep myself from babbling.
Yeah, that's actually great.
Miss Martin. Okay, and when Bao would give his talks, he would often say,
I can move. I'll move over, bro.
Yeah, move over so you can see it.
you can do something, and that might generate 10 billion sanskaras, or something would be another billion sanskaras. So what these sanskaras are is kind of mysterious in the sense that what are they? And how come, like, from his perspective, he might be seeing things, we haven't heard of before, but the numbers or the amount of what you do, even in, any little action, seems to be immense. So, do you, Jeff, do you have it, or anybody, do you have any ideas as to what he was talking about and what, is there like some sort of physical structure to sanskaras or whatever?
You're muted.
My computer messed up, so I missed almost everything you said, Martin, but I know it was the most profound thing you've ever said.
Yes, it was.
So just to recap briefly, Bauchi would give his talks at the center of the PC, and he would say, he'd talk about sanskaras where they would be generated billions at a time. And I've heard him say that quite a few times. And so the question is, have you any idea what the nature of a sanskara is, or why so many are created at one time?
I don't know, but by focusing on Baba is the supreme dissolver of good and bad sanskaras, spiritual sanskaras. Focus on him and you don't have to deal with the amount. The amount is going to go embezzled by Baba.
And Elizabeth.
So I guess the other phrase that stuck out to me was the one that Wendy just talked about. She kind of skimmed over it, but that at the end of the page, putting our full attention on Baba, or God within, keeps the inner doors open and creates a funnel. And there's also a video of Baba of I think it's one going across the United States where there's a dam, and the dam is released and the water is funneled through a channel. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. That funnels, that narrows our focus from the vast manyness of gross objects to the oneness that is reality, and that opening us to the presence of God, divine calm. But by focusing on Baba more and more, then you're funneling through to the oneness, and that probably helps with that rooting out because you focused your consciousness. And and Baba often worked with people where they were watching something, and he did that because he used their focused consciousness to achieve things he needed to achieve. He needed their energy and their thoughts, or whatever he was doing, which I don't know. But he said that a lot in movies and theater productions. And then when he was done with his work, okay, time to go. And people had to leave their movie. But I think it's similar to that. Then the other thing, when you were talking about sanskaras, and it's only because we've been reading the Nothing and the Everything and God Speaks at the same time, that I wouldn't even think of this. But talking about the creating of sanskaras, if you go back to the beginning, the very beginning, where all the the drop bubbles are created of consciousness. Each of us is a drop bubble, the little soul that's inside its consciousness that keeps evolving, then it involves. When the whim first came, it was that whim that created the ripple, the impression, the sanskara. So my guess is the sanskaras are created by the whim, and the shadow of that whim that's reflected in us as the desire to find out who we individually are, or satisfy these 7 things that are given to Vaikuntha, or the receptive creative vesicle through which creation took place. So I'm throwing that out for anybody to expand upon, say yay or nay or whatever. But I just get this impression of the continuation of the whim and these sanskaras. But by the time it gets to us in 2021, these are like interlocking and so many, and all these thousands of lives. And every time we meet someone, something's created, thoughts and feelings between each one, and they get more complicated because they're crisscrossed and interlinked and just a huge mess, which is why we can't get out of it ourselves. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why we better read this book and learn how to do it. but really, love dissolves all of this. That's in. You can't get rid of the sanskaras on your own, except through love. I mean, that's the fastest way. And focusing on Baba.
So I was just hearing to Adi K. Rani's talk a couple of days ago, and since Elizabeth brought this up about sanskaras, and I was hearing in the conversation, I thought it might be good to chime in what he had said in his talk. He was saying, imagine that our life is like a bathroom full of dirt and mess, everything around. And if you wanted to clean it up, it could be possible that you can pick one thing up at a time and start picking things and tossing them away. But if you do in that process, it will take you lifetimes and lifetimes to completely clean it away. But if you really want to clean it away fast, what you should rather do is just splash a bucket full of Baba's love on the bathroom and clean it up, and wish it is clean in just 1 minute. And if you fail to do so, take another bucket of water and splash it over, and it will be gone for sure. If not in one attempt, another attempt, and keep doing it until it's gone. And for sure, you succeed in that, rather than picking every single thing and tossing it away to clean it up. So I thought this would be a good thing.
Yeah, that's the fastest way. It's better to get a fire hydrant hose in there.
That's a great image. All right, looks like we can go on. Chapter 11, page 60 of the book.
Changing our paradigm. Why strive to become something in the dual realm when you have to let the whole realm go? Darwin Shaw. We are so much more than our dual nature. Meher Baba comes to free our consciousness from the realm of duality and take us to a much higher level. But we have to dare to leave behind the paradigm of the personality, to plow through the forest of self, part the underbrush, and accept the bliss, light, and truth that is our real identity. We have to dare all for God. Through faith in Him, we are enabled and encouraged to do this. The dual realm. What is this realm of duality that we are transcending? It is the level of all the opposites, gain and loss, beginning and ending, past and future, pleasant and unpleasant, happy and miserable. The opposites are tied in with the ego and a sense of the personal, as in, I am happy, I am unhappy, I have suffered loss, I have made great gains, I have done something wonderful, I have done something terrible. The I is predominant through all these vacillations between the opposites, and it governs our moods and our sense of who and what we are. In the dual realm, we are also involved in desires nearly all day long, even simple desires. What shall I eat? What shall I wear? What do I do now? What shall I do next? Will the car start? Our consciousness is caught at that level, and Baba wants to disentangle us from all of that and show us that we are not the personality self at all, that we are the soul, we are spirit, eternal, sovereign, and free from all of the illusory functions of the dual realm.
Beautiful. Any comments there? Anything to chime in with?
Okay, I'm going to try on this one here. What was coming to me is that it feels like what keeps us so involved at that level is just taking ownership of life. I mean, when we think we're doing it, like I have to perform like this in this class, I have to achieve this on my job, I have to get a job, I have to do this in family life, I have to achieve that. I can feel how it just keeps you worried about that because we're owning it, like we have to do it. And what came to me is having that faith in Baba that he is going to take care of all these things and that we don't have to be involved micromanaging our life on that level, that we can just turn over the whole thing and trust that we don't have to be involved on that level anymore. And it's a tremendous act to let that whole thing go and to have that faith that yes, he's going to take care of every last detail of everything. And I think what I know with me, where I sometimes get caught with it, is that, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's Baba testing us a little bit, that a lot of times he'll wait till the very last second to act. So, you'll worry about, oh, is this going to come through? Is this going to happen? And you don't think it's gonna. And then at the last second, he delivers. And yet again, you realize like, wow, I didn't have to worry about that. It did work out again. So, I think that's what was coming to me, of just turning over the whole thing to him and having that faith. To me feels like that's the real freedom from the dual realm, because we don't have to manage anything anymore. Jai Baba.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the situation. Darwin used to say, eventually life just unfolds. Rather than getting in there micromanaging, it just unfolds and you've kind of let go. But that is kind of postgraduate level.
And Cindy.
Okay. I am doing something right now that I've been avoiding wanting to do for a long time. So I'm very grateful that you guys are like here with me. And I'm going through like boxes of memorabilia. And now just speaking about it, I can feel the duality taking over the emotion. So right away, first note, give it to Baba. Okay, fine. First note. And what I've come to know is I feel like that I is like the puppet of my soul. And I can have fun with my puppet, like it's cool. I mean, I don't want to diss all of duality. I mean, obviously God made it for like a really good reason and all the reasons that we know. And to go through all this memorabilia of the last 30 years. And what I'm saying now is like the appreciation of it, Baba. Let me appreciate the human experience rather than measure it in the chits of gain and loss, just an overall appreciation across the board of love in motion and love in expression. So I really did, when this was being read, I thought about, okay, you know, and even the stuff of my kids and ex-husband looking through, like, that's not them either. That was just what their puppet was doing. And there was love in it all, in every bit of it. So I'm very grateful to be here today, and for that first note, give it to Baba, of emotion, which I just did live time. So thank you.
Beautiful, Cindy. A perfect example of this.
Alan Ree?
So as life is unfolding, I do my best to bring awareness to the moment. I'm not consciously considering whether this action is going to generate a positive or negative sanskara. I'm just doing my best to give it all to Baba. And sometimes I'm more able to do that than at other times. And we just keep moving forward.
I like that. Great.
Yeah. Wendy and Martin?
I think it was Cindy that was talking about sorting through her stuff. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
it was
got the name
Cindy.
correct. Okay. A while back when I wasn't well, I started thinking about stuff in the house. And one of my 3 children said, you know, Mom, like, why do you have this? You know, why do you have these things? And anyway, I took a while before I responded. And then I looked, I brought them all together and said this house is a garage sale waiting to happen. The only things that need to go somewhere special are all the things that I've received from the Mandali over the year, Baba books, and so on and so forth. But the rest of them are memories. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, it's not like I'm a clutter bunny, I'm not. But even if I was, if they give me comfort and they're not doing any harm, it's like, when I'm done with them, you do whatever you want, you know. But right now, this is my potential garage sale, and I'm okay with that. So I don't know, Cindy, if that gives you any comfort or not, but yeah, it's a process getting rid of things. I'm in my 70s now, and I know things slowly but surely, you got to move out. I get that. But some things have beautiful memories, and I think Baba is okay with having memories. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Jay Bob.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay, am I the only one who has a fear of doing this? I know I shouldn't be like that, but just think of getting rid of, I mean, like, for example, I've got my workroom and I've got all the work I've done, you know, files and files of things I've written and research and all kinds of stuff, you know, and a friend of mine said, it's just junk, get rid of it. And I tell you, when that's said to me, it like stabs me in the heart, and I think, but this is my life, you know? Am I supposed to get rid of everything? I mean, this person had a point. I mean, a real point. But talk about resistance to it. I don't know. To me, this is not easy, getting rid of the I, me, mine. Even getting rid of your own identity. It's like eating yourself, like the mischievous chicken kept eating everything. But does anyone else feel that way? Or, I mean, I guess I'm unspiritual in this way, but I'm honest. I am not there at all, not even close. It scares me just to read this stuff. You know, how do you get I mean, I want to be happy. If I think about being unhappy, oh no, I don't want to be unhappy. You know, I want all the positives. I don't want the negatives. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. If anybody has some insights, I mean, I would love to hear them and see what they do or what they, anyway, thank you.
How about a garage sale, Elizabeth? No, I'm just joking.
Nobody would want this stuff in that back room.
Okay. Let's see. Well, that'll get answered as we go along, I'm sure. But it's hard to let go of our identity with the past unless it evokes love. Anyway, let's try the habitual paradigm.
Wait a minute. Unless it evokes love, can you explain that, Jeff?
Well, if you have things that remind you of love and remind you of Baba, they are valuable. And just a second. Uh-oh, somebody's calling me, but that's what I say. In other words, if you strip it all down, you might be left kind of empty. So keep the ones.
Page 61, the habitual paradigm.
Can I just say something first? Because I was going to try to raise my hand. I just want to say to Elizabeth, as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly what we're all struggling with. That's why we're here. We're human. And everybody does it in a different way and different timing. But, to think that you're not spiritual or that, it's unique in any way, it's, we have an ego and we're in the human condition. And here we all are. So I'm going to read. The habitual paradigm. The whole construction of what we take to be factual is illusion, not real at all, but we are accustomed to it and have accommodated ourselves to it because it conforms to reasoning. Therefore, at the outset, as spiritual aspirants, we have to let go of the mind and rise to the level of the spirit. In other words, we have to consciously begin letting go of the habitual paradigm that has a hold on our consciousness and is locked in with reason. This habitual paradigm is a prototype or basic pattern of thinking we have that consists of limitations that seem to constitute reality because these limitations are corroborated by reason. It is a whole system we each have developed in our consciousness, and we do not even know that we have this system. It is a system where we work at the level of conditions, and it consists mostly of limitations and dependence upon contingencies. We postulate that certain conditions cannot come about unless other conditions are in place. And we think that one condition is counteracted by another condition, which we believe depends on certain contingencies. This is the level of conditions. Really, it is the level of confusion. Our life is a spiraling process toward truth. Changing the paradigm of who we think we are and what we value is part of the spiraling process of consciousness propelling us from one level to a higher level. Instead of letting our consciousness and our lives go along randomly, we need to take control. However, letting go of the mind and rising to the level of spirit does not mean that we do not have an intellect and cannot think, but that the center of our identity moves from the mind to the spirit level. The intellect is available for use, but we do not make it our headquarters anymore.
Beautiful. Anyone to comment on that?
Love, this whole passage was very nice. And it all comes down to the end. The intellect is available for use. We do not make it our headquarters anymore. This has been in and out of our discussions, but it was just so beautifully and simply put. I just wanted to comment on it. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very succinctly put.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment on Elizabeth's question or comment. Um, from my view, there are two things. One is at the material level, like all our physical possessions, like car, house, all those kinds of things that we have to let go of. And I think that part is little easier relative to all the other things that we identify ourselves with. I'm honest, I'm truthful, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm that. That part I think is much harder. And I think Baba works with us to make sure that happens. It's painful, but I remember Elizabeth had two messages, I think over the new year, but I'll read that again because I love that quote from Baba. So let me read that. So it goes, the way of my work is the way of effacement, which is the way of strength, not of weakness, and through it you become mature in my love. At this stage, you cannot know what real love is, but through working for me, as you should work for me, you will arrive at that ripeness where in a moment I can give you that for which you have been millions of years seeking. So he takes care of the effacement of everything that we have identified ourselves with, so no need to fear.
Thank you, Meher Prasad, for reminding me. I would not have related it back to that, but you're absolutely right. It is about self-effacement. Thank you.
And a beautiful thing, like young children, they don't carry around a whole lot of possessions of even, memories and everything. And they're so happy. They're living more in the present. So we can take a cues from them. They travel pretty light. But anyway, on to the next.
Betty?
Hi, I was going to comment on the same paragraph that Ray commented on, this last paragraph. However, letting go of the mind and rising to the level of spirit does not mean that we do not have an intellect and cannot think, but that the center of our identity moves from the mind to the spirit level. The intellect is available for use, but we do not make it our headquarters anymore. Well, okay, so then the question is, how do we move from the mind to the spirit? And the phrase that I've read about recently, it's called being wholehearted. And wholehearted is more than just heart-centered. It's heart-centered and encompassing all the facilities of the mind, but that the mind is not the beacon for your journey anymore. It's the wholeheartedness, and the heart leads. The heart is the center of the beacon that guides on the journey of the spirit. And that's been so important to me because there was a time in my life I was quite intellectual and competent at that. And I am less able to really do that these days. And it's become okay because I feel wholehearted. I feel that my heart, together with the degree of useful thinking that I have is really guiding me towards spirit. It's exactly what Betty needs. And that everybody finds their own mix, their own beacon for the journey. And mine is wholehearted. And I'm glad that I'm finding it. Thank you.
Beautiful, Betty. So true. And that's what Baba emphasized, wholeheartedness gets you to the present as well.
And Gabriella.
I got interrupted by a really important call, and it was about a medical issue, and it was to a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he was trying to give me all this information. And I started to get really scared and want to argue with him and disagree. And then I remembered what we had just said about, Wendy had said about talking to the soul. And so I flipped that switch inside and started talking to the soul of this wonderful man. And he was nervous and he was anxious. And suddenly he started to relax a little more. And all of a sudden my fear started to go away. You know, and then the conflict that I was going to have with him, I realized it wasn't important. It was not going to go anywhere, so I could just drop it. And then I started to feel this love and joy in my heart. It was like from this really, was going to be a very difficult call. And the last thing that happened, I wrote this down because I noticed all these steps, but the last thing that happened was the thing that I originally thought was you want to talk to somebody's soul for their sake. You know, all those other things were for my own. I got all the benefit, right, of not being stressed out and of having that joy and feeling the light go on in my heart, which is so beautiful. And then he was so happy at the end. So it did have that result, I'd hoped, but it was just interesting to me that speaking to another soul is for both of you. So
beautiful. And good that you tuned into the early part of this Effort and Grace.
I need to be around a regular basis.
So, thank you, Wendy.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something. Because I've talked to Darwin about this, this idea of conditions leading to more conditions, these contingencies. And one of the examples is that, say, suppose you lose your partner of, many, many decades. And normally we think that the grief process will take, it could take the rest of your life. It could take the bulk of it could take a year and a half. There are certain kind of psychological cause and effect, how long it takes to play out. But Darwin said it can happen, through Baba's grace and giving it to Baba, it can happen much faster. And so, but because we've kind of bought into, this is going to take a year and a half for the worst part of this to get over, that takes us a year and a half. But I remember Adi saying that when his mother died, and they were very close and they lived there in the compound, he said he suffered grief tremendously, but because of Baba, he got over the grief of his mother in 1 week. So that breaks all of the the laws of our usual cause and psychological cause and effect that we buy into. So that's kind of what Darwin is saying, is that we can move through things much faster if we believe a little bit in the magic of grace. It doesn't take as long to grow grow past these things as we might think with Baba. Whereas in the world, most people who buy into the psychological law of cause and effect, it takes certain length of time to get through things. So that's how he explained that.
And Wendy.
I learned this through hospice. Grief, we experience grief when there's, oh, I did it. When love has nowhere to go. Grief, we experience grief when love has nowhere to go.
Wow, beautiful. Wow.
Jay Baba.
Wow. What a line.
Yeah, it's got me through a lot.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, please?
Grief, Martin, you say it.
Grief happens when love has nowhere to go. So if you can let love express the way it would normally, then it has somewhere to go and you can feel it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. I always get emotional even when I say it.
Oh, it's very touching line. Wow.
Yeah.
And when it can be directed to Baba, you save yourself a tremendous amount of grief that other people might have to go on experiencing.
Yes, yes, yes. Because some people say you grieve as deeply as you loved.
Yeah.
And, that fits too, but I like the other one. Grief is when love has nowhere to go. Yeah. Anyway, Jay Baba.
Page 61, Faith and Daring.
Faith and daring. Changing our paradigm comes down to putting our faith and trust in something other than the mind, and that would be God or the Master. Faith and trust in God or the Master go beyond the control of reason and the expectations based on reasoning. At the mind level, the logical level, we tend to think that problems are solvable only based on certain contingencies. But instead of thinking that we have to figure out everything on an intellectual basis when we are contending with doubts, fears, and anxieties, we have to build our faith so that our center of trust is in God or the Master. By faith, I mean spiritual faith, which can become a transcendent and triumphant faith, where all doubts are dispelled, former obstacles disappear, and we have clarity within the eyes of the heart. Such faith requires courage because it is a matter of removing all doubts, all fears, and daring to trust God. If we trust Him completely and implicitly, we dare to go out on a limb of faith, even though we cannot see where it leads. Meher Baba says to trust God completely and leave everything to Him, to let Him take care of all of our problems. It is my experience that He does do this, but we need to have faith that He is capable of doing this and be strong in our belief. We have to root out all our doubts and the reservations that we hold in our consciousness. Increasing faith ultimately involves a growing intimacy with the Master and a growing acceptance of His intervention. This is not a head process, but a heart process, wherein one dares to open the heart completely to the Master and accept His loving, purifying, sustaining grace. We experience His grace in proportion to our trust and faith in Him, so we must dare to go out on the limb of full faith. Then things really begin to happen.
Well, this next section kind of continues that. So let's go on to dare to take a stand.
Dare to take a stand. Changing our paradigm means taking our stand on the truth within, the highest truth we know within ourselves, as Baba exhorts us to do. We have to assert our infinite nature, our higher nature, which means to identify and cooperate with the spirit level of our being. This calls for great daring. Instead of taking our stand on the shifting sands of Sanskaras, we take our stand on the truth within. We do this by asserting the truth within and denying the false. And this is the skill of right thinking. We must dare to engage in right thinking in order to get breakthroughs toward the truth, rather than hope that the truth is going to magically drop in on us sometime. This means that instead of asserting all the false values we have been in the habit of maintaining all our lives, we have to be courageous and assert the truth within our consciousness, especially in our hearts, which is where we experience illusory restrictions and conditions and do the work of replacing them with higher values. This is a refining process that we undergo, working with a variety of means and methods that we are conscious of. We see where we can exchange weakness for strength in our hearts and illusion for more and more of the truth. We pull back our tentacles of sanskaric fulfillment and instead work to uncreate sanskaric veils and ego definitions. The truth within can become our criterion for sorting and exchanging values. We measure those values against the truth and make choices along the way. Thus, taking our stand on the truth within us is a shortcut for dissolving our subjective and self-created false world. We become true seekers. We see the falseness of the false and detach ourselves from it. We cling to truth, and when we put it into practice, more truth will be revealed. If we stop this progress, we fall back into the original paradigm. All of this is a part of inner discipleship, discovering more and more what can be accomplished through faith and daring. This means opening up the heart more, and even the act of asserting faith opens up the heart. We dare to go out into the unknown at the inner level, dare to draw closer to Baba inwardly, and dare to draw away from the limited self. Through faith and daring, we open up the heart center and take our stand on the truth within. And this leads us out of the dual realm and into the inner path of love. Meher Baba says, learn the art of taking your stand on the truth within. When you live in this truth, the result is a fusion of the mind and the heart and the end of all fears and sorrow. It is not a dry attainment of mere power or intellectual knowledge. A love which is illumined by the intuitive wisdom of the Spirit will bless your life with ever-renewing fulfillment and never-ending sweetness. As always, this is not a work that we are doing by ourselves. We are doing it under the guidance and with the inner help of Meher Baba, the Divine Beloved. He is constantly supporting us and helping us. Through him and his divine love grace, everything becomes possible.
This is where that truth within, I have that on a bumper sticker that I got at Cherry Hour years ago. Learn the art of taking a stand on the truth within. And then the big words are never ending sweetness. And when I'm feeling the pain of separateness, the truth within is that we're all one. That there is no pain of separateness other than my mind measuring it. And then I'm not enjoying duality and all of the richness of the beauty that Baba gives us to remember the oneness. So when I can immediately remember that we're one, like that loneliness is an illusion because I'm not in alignment with my soul when I'm feeling that, that's what really helps me. That's just like, oneness. Truth within is oneness. Truth within is we're eternally loved. So I loved hearing that today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Great. Great explanation.
My comment is when we dare to draw closer to Baba inwardly, I guess that when I think of my relationship with Baba, it's becomes it's almost that well, of course I just turn to Baba because even though the world is, because of what's been going on in the world, to just think, well, Baba said, 100% to my satisfaction, everything is going. I've completed my work 100% to my satisfaction. So, because of my particular relationship with Baba and what happened with me and how I came to Baba, I said, it's him, it's so what Baba says somehow touched me. And now, because I said at the very first time, I accepted that Baba was something, it was him. So even though I'm scared or I get worried about things, or things, maybe it's better to say it's just so disturbing, Baba said it's 100% to his satisfaction. So either he's crazy or he's a liar or he's God incarnate, so what's my choice? So I think that getting closer to Baba inwardly is when I'm challenged by, for instance, this past year, I had plenty of challenges for that. And it just put it right in front of me. Okay, Ray, well, remember what I said. Remember what you said. What do you think now? Look at what just happened, So I wanted to comment about this drawing closer to Baba inwardly because, that's a nice phrase, but, how the heck do you do that? So that my experience was, if my challenge, if from Baba is it's not a challenge, but what I'm sort of repeating myself now, getting lost, but it's just that he gives the situations and then you have a choice of either getting stressed about it, or did Baba say that's 100% to my satisfaction? I got your back, Ray. Don't worry. It looks really bad. Don't worry. And then I got to say, you're right. Okay. That's my comment or my soliloquy.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray. Yeah.
Very good.
You've done it good.
Yeah, Ray, great comment there. I hear this like a wonderful childlike faith in that. It's a wonderful thing. I just want to say also, Cindy was mentioning the opening of that paragraph she's got as a bumper sticker, learn the art of taking your stand on the truth within. And the last sentence there I just think is incredible, like this. Baba's holding out this incredible garden that we can enter into. A love which is illumined by the intuitive wisdom of the Spirit will bless your life with ever-renewing fulfillment and never-ending sweetness. What a statement.
Yeah. When Darwin would say the word truth, it wasn't like the word that's in the Webster dictionary. You got an experience of the truth coming through his, you might say, right through his heart. You got the actual experience of that kind of oneness and that rarefied place when he said truth. It was something to experience. And I thought of one thing that what Ray was saying about acceptance. There was Henry Kashouti was one of the younger people that came to see Baba. He met Baba in 1956, and he was just focused on Baba, and Baba let him kind of sit at his feet there, and Baba was such a magnet to him, and there was such a great rapport. And then Baba came in 1958. And, Baba would be in the lagoon cabin and he would call this one and that one. And he wasn't being called. I think 3 days went by. He was not being called. And he was back at his hotel in town struggling with this. I mean, he had such an intimacy, and now he's, Baba isn't calling him. And so he was very disturbed. And at a certain point, after mulling on this thing for days, he came to the point of, if Baba wants to see me, he will ask for me. I have to accept that. It's his wish that I'm not there. Immediately when he came to that thought, a phone call came from Baba, and Baba says, Baba wants to see Henry. Beautiful. And sure enough, he kind of brought him to that truth, to accept what is, as Baba's wish.
Jeff, when you just said that story, I always get a little confused because in life, I'm such a producer. I make things happen. And it's been a life lesson for me to sit back and let things happen, because you lose control. So were you saying that he wanted to see Baba all the time, but he just let it go and said, if Baba wants to see me, that's the pace we will go?
Yeah,
his desire.
Yeah, he was dying to see Baba and have that intimacy that he had in 1956, but he came to that place where if Baba wants to, I have to surrender to what Baba wants. If he wants to see me, I'm okay with that. If he doesn't want to see me so far, I have to accept that fully. And the moment he came to that realization within himself, the call came. Henry, Baba wants to see you. Yeah, it's incredible. But making, it's a continuum. We're all on a continuum. Some people like to make things happen. Some people are more favor letting things happen. It's all on a continuum. Those who think that they should make things happen, they believe in free will. The other people that tend to let things happen kind of believe in predestination. This is what I find. It's just kind of funny, but it just has to do with our temperament, our conditioning.
Jeff, I've heard you many times talk about opening up the heart center. And I know that Darwin talked a lot about the heart center, and he would always kind of, put his hands to his chest, I think, when he was talking about the heart center. What would be your like instruction, or what do you think is one of the best ways to open up the heart center? I know that maybe you've heard Darwin talk about.
A very good question. Well, the one thing that great help that I got from Erich and Darwin too is, if you can bring your consciousness down and follow your feelings and not spend all the time following your thoughts and your ideas and opinions about things, follow your feelings about things. Follow your feelings, because then you have to come down to the heart. And if you get addicted to following your feelings, you are remaining in your heart. But then there are the lesser feelings, the lower emotions, and then there are the higher feelings, the deeper feelings, which are the divine qualities of compassion, empathy, kindness, humor, generosity. They're flowing at the deeper realm. But to get down to the heart level and then go upstream where the more beautiful qualities are flowing from, they're flowing directly from Baba into us.
Is that the higher self we're referring to?
Say that again.
Is that the higher self that you're referring to?
Well, yeah, if you can get all the way to where the source of compassion and honesty and kindness and generosity and joy, and that you are moving, you're on the borderline between your lower self and your higher self. And, Bob is right there. You're kind of coming into his presence. If you can stay there, you're with him in an abiding way. But following the feelings but they're the lower feelings of, less greed, anger, jealousy, and all that kind of stuff. But then there are the higher feelings. And the more we appreciate those in ourselves, the more we can remain in our heart, and the more we live from there. So that is, and it's tracking the feelings with awareness, not with the mind. The mind is going to come down there and muddy the whole thing up. If you're feeling sad, you can follow the sadness without, getting into why am I sad, without analyzing. Follow it in the pure sense. Then you are establishing yourself in the heart. Yeah, that is kind of what I gathered from these veterans.
Anna and Gary?
Yeah,
eating dinner.
We're having dinner. It's lovely to be here. We're in our backyard.
Yeah.
This is to everyone as well as you, Jeff, or everybody. With Khashoggi getting the 56, at Baba's feet, and in 58 getting the 3 days later in the hotel. I wanted just to get anyone's insight on the Gene Adriel experience. And the famous quote is, I pull you in, I push you away, I pull you in even closer, and I push you even further away, like to the hotel room. And then I eventually pull you into me. A little parallel tracking.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that, inner working of deepening the heart, and no one really likes it that much, but that's
oh, come on, Jeff, you love it, man.
That's his unenviable job.
Mary used to say, I remember Mary used to say, hey, she said you have to grab him with both hands. It's not like hold on to his demand doesn't necessarily, it's not a passive thing. You have to grab it. You have to grab Baba.
Yeah, with both hands.
With both hands.
Yeah. And Marcia?
That's good.
I was having some problems way back, and I spoke to somebody, and they gave me this quote. It says, the mind is beautiful, it is strong, and it is your friend. It has worked hard and saved you for years. It doesn't know that you have a higher self. This is a time for your higher self to begin a relationship with your mind, one that is based on wisdom, patience, gratitude, and respect. Let Baba channel through you to your mind. The goal is to stay present, connected to wisdom, and to a breath that is wide and slow.
Yeah, beautiful. Befriend the mind. Eric used to say to befriend the mind, but don't let it be the master. It's a good servant, but a lousy master. Hey, so shall we have a few moments of silence, unless there is any last moment comments? Mayor Prasad, can you read that? Give us that quote once again. This is a beautiful quote.
Which one, Jeff? The one that I said in the beginning, or the
the one you said in the beginning.
Yeah. Whatever you face in the world, I am facing it along with you. I will never leave you. I am always with you.
Once again.
Whatever you face in the world, I am facing it along with you. I will never leave you. I am always with you.
Let's have some silence. Jai Baba. Hey, thank you all for for sharing all that you experienced with Baba, and it really, I find very helpful. We're all have a piece of the puzzle. Yeah, yes. Stuart, a little later on, Stuart will lead us in a heart-centered meditation. It's short but powerful, and you are welcome to join in. Anything that comes up amongst anybody before we go into that?
I think Jeff Aspel had something to say.
Regarding Martha's question about opening your heart, I can only share how I do it. There are beautiful different ways. In meditation, I quietly say to myself, I'm breathing in Baba's love. I'm breathing out Baba's love. And really, I breathe in Baba's love and I breathe out Baba's love. And I breathe in Baba's love and I breathe out Baba's love, and I let Baba's love literally come into my being. I can also say, and I do, I love you, Baba. Baba, I love you. I love you, Baba. Baba, I love you. It's really another way of saying Baba's name. I also say, thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. I love you, Baba. Also, if you go into YouTube and you type in Michelle Rutenberg, I was just this afternoon listening to Michelle Rutenberg, and he has a very beautiful, and there are other people that have most beautiful songs, and this particular one is saying Baba's name in very beautiful, beautiful ways. It really does open your heart. Michelle Rutenberg has many beautiful songs. It's Ruttenberg.
Yeah.
You mean Misha?
Yes,
Misha,
thank you.
yeah.
I heard him
Misha.
sing at the Glow Conference about 7-8 years ago, and I still am mispronouncing his name. Misha Rittenberg.
Yeah.
Beautiful, 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 heart-opening songs, and you will find that I'm sure Baba will draw you to it. If you just write YouTube, Meher Baba, Michelle Rutenberg singing to Baba, there's some beautiful, beautiful songs. But once again, by saying I breathe in Baba's love, I breathe out Baba's love, it doesn't even have to be during meditation. I think you'll make a wonderful heart-centered contact.
Yeah, beautiful, Jeff. I mean, that is so true. That's one of my practices, and it works, you know.
Roshni from India is doing the 7 realities meditation, and essentially that's a big part of the meditation, that and going through the 7 realities. It's pretty amazing if anyone hasn't tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi everybody. What Gary brought up, Jean Adriel, just 5 minutes ago, it brought back the memory of. I got a call from Liam Mullen in '83, and we both went down to see Jean from Berkeley down to San Fernando Valley. She was in a hospice there, and I remember walking in with him, and Jean was laying in bed with a sheet over her. She probably didn't weigh 90 pounds. And here's someone that where Baba literally pushed her away intentionally. And in the discussion with her, she had a pretty weak voice. She described that Baba was always with her, and don't worry about me, and I'll be okay. And she died a week later. So yeah, that happens, and it's okay. It's Baba's always with us, regardless of whether we feel it or don't feel it, or think or don't think it. So something that you got to take into consideration when you're really down. That he's got your back.
Yeah. What did Baba say? So what was that line? You might try to get rid of. Let's see. Oh shoot! But it ends up even if you try to get rid of me, you're not going to be able to get rid of me. But that's not the quote. But it's the last message that Baba gave on the alphabet board.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you for the.
She's the one that wrote. Yeah, she's the one that wrote the book The Avatar, which was one of the early biographies of Baba. Beautifully
written. I ever read.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was a good memory.
Yeah.
Jeff, who wrote the Avatar?
Jean Adriel.
Oh, thank you.
Her and Malcolm Schloss had a bookstore in New York City called a North Node back in the 30s.
Yeah. Okay, Wendy.
All right.
Again, this was something that I got from one of your other Zooms, and I just need some confirmation on it. I think the person said that Baba has, because we're all locked in and separate, he has us all hardwired to one another so that he'll never not be there. Does anybody remember that? I'm sorry, I can't be more specific, but it was very comforting. It was almost like he's hardwired us, all of us, our connections, so that no matter what, through all of this, we're connected. He can't isolate us.
Yeah, I think, Mayor Prasad has posted one part of the last message that Baba gave, which I'll read that, but also the first part of it, it might be what you're referring to, Wendy.
Okay.
But here's one thing he said. Baba says, you can never escape me. Even if you try to escape from me, it is not possible to get rid of me. Therefore, have courage and be brave. You can never escape from me. Even if you try to escape from me, it is not possible to get rid of me. What a great confirmation. Yes. And the early part of this is, I don't know if...
Do you want me to read it, Jeff?
About the internal links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll read this. We are going to be connected to each other for the next 700 years. You're looking at the whole network, some of the network of your support system for the next 700 years, or whenever Baba comes again.
Right.
So here is the quote as soon as Mayor Prasad gets it.
Yeah. So I'll read from the beginning. It's about...
Oh, yeah, read it. You read it. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
There is no reason at all for any of you to worry. Baba was, Baba is, and Baba will also be eternally existent. Severance of external relations does not mean the termination of internal connections. It was only for establishing the internal connections that the external contacts have been maintained till now. The time has now come for being bound in the chain of internal connections. Hence, external contact is no longer necessary. It is possible to establish the internal link by obeying Baba's orders. I give you all my blessings for strengthening these internal links. I am always with you and I am not away from you. I was, am, and will remain eternally with you. And it is for promoting this realization that I have severed external contact. This will enable all persons to realize truth by being bound to each other with internal links.
So he's not just talking about the internal link with himself, but with each other.
Well, that
are-
sounds really interesting because that means that our interactions with each other are really important, I think, to help keep us on track.
Yeah. We're gonna, we're, when I'm reborn in Siberia next lifetime, some of you better be on an expedition somehow and pick me up on the side of the road, bring me back. Okay, so we've got
Jay Baba, thank you.
yeah, thanks, Mayor Prasad. Diane and Terry.
Andor. So I think I feel, I'm not sure. This is what I'm feeling right now, that Bob is always with us. And yet when we really get it in our hearts that he's with us, those are those seconds of bliss. Like when we take that deep breath and we breathe Baba in and out, it's like consciously, that's when we feel the bliss, but he's always there no matter what. We just don't know that he's there.
Yeah.
There are those moments that we really get it. And then there are a lot of times we're busy and we don't get it, but he's always with us.
Yeah. Even on an overcast day, we say the sun isn't out, but it's always there. Just the clouds of Sanskaras veil that truth. But what amazes me is that Baba is with everyone. He's there with you, and he's there here with me, and he's with Bill Cliff, and he's with Wendy up. He is always with everyone. No one else can do that. Not even a perfect master can do that. This is God himself. I don't know how he does it. How can he be with Ken Richard over there? He's all the way up in Connecticut. And Darwin used to say, it's not like he just comes in and visits us every once in a while, spot checks us. It's more we're spot checking him. So he is always there. And anyway.
There's a song, Just You and Me, that Bill.
Oh, yeah.
I think Baba wrote that song. I know Bill sang that once, sometime before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get him to sing that maybe next time. I think Bill knows that song, right? To Dr. Duncan.
Yeah, I put it to music, Jeff. So I.
Oh well, hey.
Yeah.
I got the culprit right off.
Yeah, next time is fine. Next time is fine.
Yeah, because I know some people want to do the heart-centered meditation. But before we begin, though, Marcia is calling in from Chicago.
After we read the second paragraph, I wrote this down, and it's just really short. I, me, my, you, she, her, him, he, all these are the ego keeping us separate and not one with God and other souls. We are not separate. Faith, obeying, serving, love, and surrender. You have to let go of yourself to find yourself. So I think that came right from Baba.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right in tune. Okay, so go ahead, Stu.
Okay, Jay Baba.
Jay Baba.
So close your eyes and just settle into wherever you're sitting or laying. And start to breathe deeply and slowly into your belly. And we'll keep this breathing going throughout. And as you breathe in, now become aware of your heart and your heart center. And this is the home within you and all of us of Meher Baba's infinite love that flows continuously through us from him and all around us. And keep breathing in as you settle into your heart and your heart center. And now picture someone who you would like to share, focusing on Meher Baba's infinite love. Could be a person or a group, and let your heart guide you, whoever comes up for you. So this could be somebody you've had conflict with. This practice can be incredibly powerful in that case, but it can be anybody. It can be someone you already love, maybe somebody you know is facing hardship. Just whoever comes up in you that you would like to focus on sharing this gift of love. And get a good image of them in your mind and your heart. And breathe in as you see them and you focus on them, and take note of whatever you might see and feel. And now picture their heart and their heart center. And start to picture Meher Baba's infinite love flowing into their heart without end. So I see this wonderful, warm, delicious, liquid golden light of love. This endlessly, generously flowing into their whole heart, filling their entire heart and heart space. From Meher Baba's source of infinite love. And you never know what wonders this love might do. And now see and feel this warm, generous, infinite love that's healing and soothing uplifting, enlightening, forgiving, endlessly supportive. See this love now overflowing from their heart and flowing through and just continuing to flow and filling their whole being, every little corner. And filling and flowing with all the divine qualities and generosity from Baba. And keep breathing in as you see and feel this infinite love continue to flow. And now let's give thanks for being able to focus on the flow of Meher Baba's infinite love into the heart and being of whoever you've chosen. And know that you can return here again and again, anytime. So let's bid farewell to them for now. And gently bring your awareness back to your own heart and heart center. And breathe in as you focus there. And take note of what you might see and feel. And now start to picture Meher Baba's infinite love, warm, generous, infinite love, flowing without end into your own heart. And filling your heart and your heart center completely. Every little corner. And this love is healing and soothing uplifting, transformative, forgiving, always supportive, and there's no end. We can never use it up. And Baba always makes it available. And breathe in as you now see this infinite love overflowing from your heart and flowing through and filling every little bit of your being. See the love just continually flowing into and through every bit of you. And you never know what magic it might bring. And now let's give thanks for being able to focus on the flow of Baba's infinite love into our own hearts and beings. And know that we can keep returning here anytime. This infinite ocean of love is always here. And as you breathe in, start to bring your awareness back to wherever you're sitting or laying gently. And take a few moments to come back. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if anybody would like to share anything, we'd love to hear from you.
Stuart,
Yes.
I was trying to do this with a group of people I don't know, but who are connected through people I know. I don't know. It was hard for me to kind of picture because I actually haven't met some of these people, but I don't know what. And I was trying to stay focused. I had a hard time staying focused. I kept having really crazy, mundane little thoughts come and go. I would always try to refocus myself, but I'm just hopeful that maybe something, I know I shouldn't be attached to any results, but I'm hoping that it might have some positive effect. But it's, to me, it's hard when you're trying to do this with a group you may not know that well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it can still work. The love can transcend whatever knowledge or knowledge you don't have of the people. I've worked with people where they're having issues with someone or a group, and I've never met the group before, but I still like come up with an image. I let the guidance come on whoever that might be, and we still do this work together with the meditation, and often enough, wonderful things have still happened. So the intention of the love, and and Baba's gift of the infinite love, I think that's what really counts, Elizabeth. And the love can transcend, can reach the hearts, and just surprising things can take place regardless.
Well, these definitely are not Baba people, Baba lovers, at least not at this point in time. They probably never even heard of Baba. Only one person within that group, possibly two, knows the name of Baba. But it's extended beyond that. But based on what I've heard, they need a lot of this love. I just hope there will be something positive from it.
I would just like to say thank you once again for being part of this experience with all of you. Some of you I've seen, I think, in India and maybe in Myrtle Beach, not all of you, but I have to say, I am just so touched with all of your honesty and openness, and yeah, I'm humbled. I'm very humbled. Thank you, Jay Bob.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, this is really a marvelous group here.
When I go, with this, I've gotten into focusing the love on Baba, and each time, and especially the last number of times, I feel like I'm at a darshan program sitting off to the side, and Baba is there amongst all of us. And there's just the high intensity of that darshan, loving darshan that he's giving, is what as if I were at the East-West Gathering or some darshan program that Baba is that we're participating in. Yeah.
Yeah, Marcia, go ahead.
I wrote in the chat, but this was really different for me because first I started focusing on one person, and all of a sudden, different people came in, including people that I've said goodbye to that are somewhere else now. But then I started like remembering everything, all my meditations and things I memorized, and said prayers, and I even sang songs, and I felt like this is going out to the whole universe, what we're doing, our light and love. So it's pretty special, not to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
That's quite an experience.
It was weird. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Wendy? You,
I think my hand got stuck there. I'm from Canada. Maybe it's frozen.
Yeah.
oh. Okay.
Just a little joke.
Spring will come one of these days.
Yeah.
I saw a robin last week, so I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ah. Yeah, as I sit at the computer, I keep this really beloved picture of Baba right by me, and every so often I might glance over, I might not, but when I glance over, I see him going, keep coming, keep coming. I'm there, I'm with you. I'm with all of you.
Beautiful. Yeah.
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 Not necessarily today, but I don't have a repertoire of songs, but I do have one song, and whenever it works, I would love to share it with the group. So,
Sing it.
Go for it, Wendy.
Yeah.
is it time? Now I've told you that I love you. Will you open up my heart? Will you show me how to love you so we'll never part? When I'm lonely and I need you, will you wipe away my tears? Will you take me to your garden where we first did meet? When I saw you in the clouds, when I saw you in my dreams, I believed you were my master, who I'd loved for years. When I'm tired and I've grown weary, will you whisper in my ear that it's time to cross your threshold? We're always near. Now I've told you that I love you. Will you open up my heart? Will you show me how to love you so we'll never part? Mayor Baba DJ.
Beautiful.
Very sweet, very sweet.
Beautiful voice, too.
Thank you.
Right from the pure heart.
Thank you, Wendy. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Day Baba.
Yeah.
One and only.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Did you write that song?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It came to me when I was in India. I think it was maybe my second trip, maybe third. I'm not really sure. And it came like that. And that's been it. That's my one and only.
And it sounds like a song from the 30s or 40s, 1930s or 40s. It has that
Yeah,
the
that's
melody
what
and
Dolly
everything.
Yeah,
Huh?
Dolly used to say that. Dolly
Oh.
Lister used to say that.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, she liked me to sing that to her. Yeah.
Jeff, I wrote the exact same thing in the chat, just as you were saying it.
Yeah.
Actually, I would love to get the words, and I don't know how you get the music, but I would love to learn that song if there's a way to do that.
Go to YouTube and type in, "Now I've told you that I love you." And I think, I'm not sure, you might have to put my name after it, Wendy Kira. That I'm not sure of.
Wait a minute. Say, I don't know your last name. Wendy what?
Kura, Kura. Frank Rose's brother posted it.
YouTube and what was the song? How I Love You? No.
Yeah, now I've told you that I love you.
So Stu, I am going, thank you for this lovely expansive experience. And I'm now going to focus down on dinner, which is not nearly as expansive.
That's a different kind of focus.
Yeah, thank you though. But great.
Good night, Jeff. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Jai Baba. Love to
Jai Baba.
everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Yeah. Janaki.
Thank you, Stu, always.